because when they say like they want to return to pre-industrial whatever, they're full of shit. But what they're talking about is they want to get back to a smaller, or at the very least, they want to harken back to a like smaller community style of like living. His quote, his ideas resonate. How the Unabomber's dangerous anti-tech manifesto lives on. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. All right. The bomb was disguised as a tangle of wooden planks and protruding nails. When he encountered it in a car park behind his computer repair store, Gary Wright thought nothing of pushing it from his path. I put my thumb and middle finger on the end and moved it. He recalls, in this way alone, he was lucky. He had reached over the top. It says, I'd have no hand. The explosion that followed left his hand studded with more than 200 pieces of shrapnel, some of it organic material that did not show up in x-rays and could not be surgically removed. Years later, when shaving or washing his face, I'd catch something that felt like a whisker, but if I grabbed some tweezers, it'd be like half an inch piece of wood embedded in there. Jesus Christ. That morning in February 87, Wright became the latest victim in the Unabomber. Actually, I don't know that much. I only know the Unabomber by like name and cultural osmosis. Unabomber. Can you get like a quick? I just need something like fast. Oh God, like look at this. How a genius became a killer. Like, oh my goodness. Evil genius. Like it's kind of wild to me that oh my God, really? Are we really doing this? Are we really doing the do I want to know? Let's see, who is the Unabomber? Yeah, actually, Mandela effect. How's this one? He taught at MIT. Psychological test effect. I don't know if I want to watch what's it called? Like I want, like, give me something like quick. Give me like the quick summary. Have you read his manifesto? It's surprisingly cogent. I have not. I haven't read anything from the Unabomber. I only really have ever known about the Unabomber from like cultural osmosis. That's why I'm like, I want to watch like something super quick to like the archives. Can I get like explained really quick? Like I know it's like a whole, let's see, FBI files. If I watch this, is this gonna be like reenacted due to no, I just give me the bait, just give me the Unabomber, how brilliant mind was used against people. Ugh. I don't know. I never like this. I never like the it's 12 minutes. I don't want to watch 12 fucking minutes. Buckley Christ, Percy Woods. Like I never like the not the infant, not like the like what's the veneration of like guys like this, I guess. The full story. Hit me with it.
This is Theodore Kaczynski, one of America's most notorious criminals. Kaczynski, also known as the Unabomber, was originally a math professor at Berkeley after studying at Harvard. In '71, Kaczynski would move into a small cabin in Montana and learn to be self-sufficient, before he would begin a long bombing campaign against numerous universities and airliners in the United States. The FBI would regard him by the case identifier Unabomb, which is where Unabomber comes from. From 78 to 95, Kaczynski would kill 3 and injure 23 others in one of the largest national investigations of all time, before asking the NYT to publish his manifesto, Industrial Society and Its Future, in exchange for an end to the campaign. Kaczynski's brother would recognize the writing style and alert the authorities, who finally arrested him in '96. And that's why this is Theodore
Okay, cool. Cool. That's all I wanted. I just wanted a quick thank you, YouTube Shorts, for giving me something worthwhile for once. Okay, cool. Let's okay, cool. We can continue with this. Like I said, I don't know I just know he set off a bunch of bombs, but I didn't know years or anything like that. Let's see. Explosion followed. Da 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 da. That morning, 87. Yeah. Entitled Industrial Society and Its Future. The essay laid out Kaczynski's nightmare's vision of humanity in an ever tightening embrace with technology. Should we watch? I want to read this and then I kind of want to watch that Breaking Points video. That, like, Kaczynski? Kaczynski? Is that it? Kaczynski? Interesting. No. What? You wrote Kaczynski? Kaczynski. Okay, okay. Kaczynski. Okay. That makes more sense. Yeah, wait, wait, is this a Mandela effect? Am I fucking crazy? Did that video not exist from Breaking Points? Okay, Breaking Points. Unabomber. Okay, cool. When was this? Oh, 7 days ago. Okay, cool. Yeah, I kind of want to watch this now. This is kind of fascinating now. We will watch that, but not immediately. I want to read this article first. Look at the minute. Okay, let's see. Entitled Industrial Society in the Future, the essay laid out Kaczynski's nightmarish vision of humanity in an ever-tightening embrace with technology that promised comfort and convenience but left us enfeebled and alienated. I got a copy. I was like, okay, this is not my style of reading. I would periodically glance. Among those who also read the manifesto was the bomber's brother, David, who recognizes the monomaniacal style in contact with the FBI, leading to Kaczynski's arrest. Yet over the years, something unexpected happened. Wright began to grow suspicious of the creeping reach of technology and became increasingly curious about Kaczynski's ideas. I can look at the manifesto and see a lot of value in saying that we have mental health issues because of social media or gaming or pick a thing. He kind of warned against that. He also talked about the value of being in nature, which I 1000% believe in. Makes sense. I feel like you were able to step out of the story of murder and say he was an intelligent kid, bullied, had no friends, could see something coming that others didn't. What value did I take from that? His views points to perhaps one of the most perplexing and enduring turns in Kaczynski's story. Nearly 30 years after it was published in an 8-page insert in the Washington Post, the manifesto is Amazon's best-selling book in the category of radical political thought. That's a category? Radical political thought. Behold the Pale Horse, Industrial Society and Its Future, Rules of Radicalism, a Practical Primer. Interesting. Emergent Strategy. Anarchist Cookbook. Oh, I know. I remember growing up and always hearing about the Anarchist Cookbook. Trust the Plan. I wonder if you think Mein Kampf would be on here? Naked Socialist. Oh my God. Chris Christie. Wow. This is a cursed field. Okay. Interesting. I didn't know that they had like a specific thing for that. Let's see. Another book of his essays is among the website's top 10 books on political philosophy. TikTok and other platforms abound with clips that intersperse quotes from the manifesto with footage of industrial disaster and pollution, or the logos and CEOs of technology giants. Some users dryly refer to Uncle Ted or to being Ted pilled, a reference to the red pill ingested by the oh my God, the Matrix. God damn it, man! I miss when fucking slow-mo gunfights was the most endearing thing that was left for us from the Matrix, and not fucking red pill, blue pill bullshit. Begins his journey to understand the true nature of reality. Yeah, we know. Conservative writer Sorb Amari wrote this week of the disturbing growth of a Unabomber right, bad person but a smart analyst. Tucker Carlson remarked, I mean, that's kind of one of those, oh, this is like another article. Okay, cool. I had to find it on Rumble based on Ted Pill. Yeah. After the terrorist death was announced, the entrepreneur Elon Musk tweeted that Kaczynski might not be wrong. Wait, I love that like Elon Musk of all people is like, maybe like the entire like sect of the economy and of like Elon Musk doesn't even get that, like, idiot, he's talking about you. Like, you're okay. In his diagnosis that technology has been a disaster for humanity, one of a list of Silicon Valley figures who has praised the clarity of the bomber's reasoning while condemning his violent acts. Yeah, of course, because I mean, Elon Musk always has to be the cool guy in the room. Like, let's see. The intense interest in Kaczynski's ideas is not new, says Sean Fleming, a research fellow at the University of Nottingham, who is writing the first book-length study of the Unabomber's ideology, and has spent years combing through archives filled with his journals, letters, drafts, prison correspondence, and, quote, even his grocery lists and lists of bomb-making materials. Kaczynski talks about depression, anxiety, AI, global warming. His concerns seem... I don't get it. If conservatives are so, like, into this guy, like, global warming, do they have a problem with global warming? Do they have a problem with anxiety? How many conservatives do we constantly see who just say that anxiety is you being a snowflake? How many of them like don't give a shit about AI for the most part? Like, yeah, and like depression, you like conservatives are the first person to tell you like just get over your impression forehead. And like they're global warming denialists. They're climate change denialists. So you know, like they only like it because he seems folksy and because he's like, oh, go outside and spend time in nature, which, yeah, like most people I think would argue that that's a good thing. And like Republicans like drape themselves in being like naturists when none of them are fucking, like a lot of them are not naturists. At least their representatives aren't. Like the anti-left stuff. Oh yeah, absolutely. At the time that the media outlets were considering whether to publish the manifesto, some within the FBI had figured that the tract would be too dense and idiosyncratic to find much purchase among the public. One columnist quipped it was the Unabomber's yawn. They miscalculated. Yeah, no shit. People are smarter than... God damn it. Manifesto certainly had a lot more popular appeal than the FBI anticipated. It sold out at newsstands within days. There were people frantically calling the Washington Post, asking where they could get a copy. Smaller presses, such as the anarchist publishers, started publishing paperback editions and pamphlet versions of it. Yeah, I mean, it like just from a historical standpoint, yeah. If they like publish that, I'd be one of these people. Like that's a piece of history, and also it's pretty fucking interesting. Revolutionary violence is sexy, of course. Sexy revolutionary violence. And what was more striking than the quantity of the manifesto was the quality of the coverage. So columnists would publish comparisons and debates between Kaczynski and some of his victims. They would present Okay, over the past decade, fascinations with Kaczynski and the manifesto has risen again, becoming part of their 2021 feature film Ted K. Oh, a Netflix documentary. Discovery Channel drama and an Apple podcast series. Oh, fucking, like, let's be honest. This is the fucking true crime shit. This right here is like the true crime craze. In a world where so few feel they have control over their circumstances, that is saturated in social media and rushing into the age of AI, whether it is ready or not, it perhaps unsurprising, that interest has grown in such an infamous technological so many things that so many of its concerns seem prescient in retrospect. Oh wait, I didn't even read the rest. Has grown in such an infamous technological critic. I think his ideas resonate because they seem to respond to some of the crucial problems of our time. Kaczynski talks about depression, anxiety, artificial intelligence, global warming, so many things that so many of his concerns seem prescient in retrospect. I mean, yeah, this is kind of how like this is kind of how things go. You know, people have a lot of these ideas before they begin to be like real world problems. James Fitzgerald, an FBI profile, was assigned to the Unabomber case in 95, just as the manifesto surfaced, and remembers reading it for the first time. A lot of his ideas, I couldn't help but say, yeah, right. But maybe big Maybe big business is a little too big sometimes, and maybe big government shouldn't be running amok here. And this was before social media was even popular. Yeah, the big ones, yeah. But the other part of my brain was saying, look, he's a killer. He's a serial killer. We've got to get him off the streets. Well, yeah, that's like you can make points that have nothing to do with why you like how you got people killed, and they kind of make sense, but still, yeah. Much of the embrace for Kaczynski's ideas of self-serving and selective. Hardly anyone who draws on a Unabomber's ideas accepts the whole package. So different people with different motivations pick different ideas to run with them. But if Kaczynski did raise valid points, he says it is because he took them from others, including the French sociologist Jacques Ellul, whose 1954 text, The Technology Society, electrified the bomber as a young man. Few of his arguments are actually original. He borrowed most of his ideas from fairly mainstream academic authors who would never have condoned his violence. What's the old phrase? What is it? It's like good artists steal. Is that what it is? It's like, damn it. What is it? Great. Steal quote. Yeah. What is it? Good artists copy, great artists steal. Yeah, that's what it is. Let's see. This distinction is not lost on everyone. Later in the year's prison letters, other writings indicate Kaczynski had started to attract more hardcore supporters. Past decade has been on the rise of anti-technological radicalism. Much of it is clear ideological links to manifesto. European anarchists have attempted to blow up an IBM nanotech facility. Let's see. Shot a nuclear energy exec in Switzerland. Nuclear energy executive in Genoa. I'm assuming it's Genoa. Kneecapping of Italian nuclear power firm boss prompts terrorism fears. Jesus. A group of Mexican eco-extremists known as ITS, whose missives lavishly praise Kaczynski, have been targeted scientists since 2011, prompting the brother of one victim to write a journal, writing to the journal Nature, urging researchers to take the threat seriously. A purported member of the group was jailed last year. I think the most fascinating thing. Where's the Do they have link? I know this is just to an article. Do they have any links to anything? Trend in which TikTokers. Let's find out. We just don't be surprised. Yeah. Fuck is this? This is the painting dude. I've seen these videos a million times. Well, that's not giving me what I want. To swallow the TED pills to embrace the romance of a return to pre-industrial hunter-gatherer lifestyle. Dude, what the fuck, man? What is this? Come on. Strains in if organic world, it blurs line between hyperbolic adoration and online stan culture, and a critique of the same, all unfolding in the oh my goodness. Let's see. The Industrial Revolution, low-key be cringe. Ted is so fine, I'm sorry. Accidentally in love. Oh my god. To swallow the TED pills to embrace the romance of a return to pre-industrial hunter-gatherer lifestyle. Dude, okay. Sometimes I feel like people don't realize how stupid they sound. Like the idea that you're like, oh yeah, I want to return to pre-industrial hunter-gatherer lifestyle. No, you don't. You don't want to do that. We obviously have, and this is the thing. This is a direct consequence of late stage capitalism, and specifically of the over commodification of so much of our lives. Everything these days. At this point, your attention to something is now commodified. There are companies like Netflix, any of these kind of media companies. All of them are looking for your attention. They're not looking to educate you. They're not looking to entertain you. They're looking for your attention. So much of everything we do is commodified now. It's fucking nuts. And I understand the hopeless feeling. I do get that, but this is also what happens when you don't have you don't have a, and part of this is the Democrats' fault. You don't have a thriving political like party or like structure to address a lot of this stuff. Are Democrats addressing any of the issues that like a lot of Zoomers are complaining about? Because when they say like they want to return to pre-industrial whatever, they're full of shit. But what they're talking about is they want to get back to a smaller, or at the very least, they want to harken back to a like smaller community style of like living. And we see this in like countries over in Europe, these little towns that like function perfectly fine. They don't have a million fucking Starbuckses and a million McDonald's and a million of every other like super large corpo like taking up all of the retail space in their towns. They want to go back to living in towns and not living in these like fucking like fucking like real estate investments by like companies like McDonald's. Like the biggest thing McDonald's does, like, yeah, do they make food? Sure. But the biggest thing they have in their notch on their belt is the property that they own. Like I get it, but yeah, it is ironic that like it's ironic because like the tool in which these people are consuming anti-technological propaganda is the tool that gets them, is like they're using their tool that addicts them to the things that they're right now like becoming like obsessed with. Because keep in mind, the algorithm is going to keep feeding them more of this stuff because it wants to keep feeding them that kind of malaise and like negative attitude to keep them on the app. Like what they don't understand is the thing that like maybe they're into is like fueling the thing that they're raging against. It's so fucked. Reject modernity, agriculture, and civilization itself. It offers a dystopian diagnosis of modern life, embracing a utopian fantasy of some prelapsarian state of nature. Christ. More paradoxically, Ted pilling means using TikTok, a culturally dominant, globalized, Chinese-owned social network techno bauble, as a means of agitating for a radical political philosophy that is, among much else, vehemently anti-technology. Yeah, it's, man. I want to take a look at that video, though. Oh, did I fucking close it like an idiot? I probably did. History? Did I not open it? Am I nuts? Nope, that's watch later. God damn it. Breaking. Such a bad typer. Unabomber. There we go. Okay. Let's take a look.
To his ideas, and you have to.
Crystal, what are you taking a look at?
Anarcho-eco-terrorist Ted Kaczynski, whose mail bombs terrified and captivated the nation, killed himself in his jail cell over the weekend. He was 81 years old, serving out a life sentence for his numerous violent crimes. Now, the so-called Unabomber killed 3 and injured an additional 23 in a series of 16 explosions that he set between the years 1978 and 1995. He was actually caught after arranging a deal with the New York Times and the Washington Post to publish his anti-modernity manifesto. It was titled Industrial Society and Its Future. Kaczynski's brother recognized Ted's writing style, and then he turned.
Yep, we know.
Reflecting an online Zoomer zeitgeist of embracing Kaczynski and calling themselves Ted-pilled. So what led to the current interest in his writings and in his ideology? Core concepts in the manifesto, they actually feel pretty familiar today. The basic idea is that technology is destroying the world and has made mankind a slave to its whims. Kaczynski argues.
Also, like, so this is also the thing, right? This is what happens when you don't have, like, any kind of, like, class awareness. Because what kind of world, right? Like, think about the structure that we've built. We've built a structure where our technology constantly is updating, is innovating, is all of these things. But who is it working for? Is it working for you? Is it working for me? No. The only people who are benefiting from, like, you know, a lot of the technological innovations that we're like having these days are the owners of these technologies, are the CEOs, the heads of these corpos. That's it. Those are the people. Like, this is why whenever like, what a good kind of like fictional example of this is if you've ever seen the movie Elysium, it's an okay movie. It's what is his name? Neil Blomkamp. It's got like Matt Damon. Point is, all the rich people end up leaving like normal Earth for like this enormous like space station called Elysium. On this enormous space station, they have like they're normal people. They're just like you and I, but they literally can't die of being sick because they have this big fucking machine, and every one of the people on this space station have this huge ass medical machine that can fix literally anything. Cancer eliminated. Like fucking kidney disease fixed. Whatever. Like you don't have a bone, it'll construct you a bone, like a bone for this or that. It is like, and like, but they're not on Earth. Millions, billions of people live on Earth. Billions of people live in trash heaps. Billions of people live in like in the slums. Billions of people live in poor ass conditions down on Earth, while the rich live in their like space station up like orbiting the Earth, where they harvest all of the money from owning all the companies that everybody spends their money on. This is at the end of the day the like, obviously like it's a fictionalization. It's kind of crazy with the whole space station bit and everything, but this is the system that we've built. This is what gets us with capitalism. When people at the top are able to outright own the resources, the products that you and I and every other person works on, it doesn't matter if we create a brand new car that that can fucking fly or that can reduce emissions. It doesn't matter. You know who are the people who are going to benefit from that? The rich. That's it. They're going to make all the money. You and I aren't going to be able to afford it. And when they're driving the nice cars that, you can only afford if you're rich, meaning you can only afford to, have a sustainable, used car if you're wealthy. The rest of us have to drive shitty cars, which keeps the entire, climate change ball rolling down the hill, meaning we're going to be the first people to pay for the consequences of all of that. Like, at the end of the day, like what all the things he's prescribing as problems are problems, but only because of the structure of capitalism, only because of the structure that keeps the resources and the monetary value at the top. That's it. That's all it is. If we distributed more of, if we lived in a system closer to socialism, closer to worker-owned means of productions, you would see a lot more, for like a Tesla as an example, if like you would see those people try to make Teslas more affordable, more widespread, because it's in their favor to be able to buy the actual cars they're working on. Like we found this out when car production first became like a thing. You need to have the cars be like purchasable by the people who are making them. But as time has gone on, as car production has been automated a lot, owners realize they could save money and fuck the people who work at their factories. The people who work at their factories can take a fucking bus, come here, and I don't have to worry about making cars for the normal man. It's just it's just a class problem. We have no, like, I don't know. This dude seems like he's too smart to not have any class analysis, but like a real lack of class analysis absolutely will get you to this like depressive state. And instead of addressing like the problem that we have and actually coming up with solutions that aren't deadly to people.
Use that quote, "The Industrial Revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race. The system does not and cannot exist to satisfy human needs. Instead, it is human behavior that has to be modified to fit the needs of the system. This system," he says, "has turned human beings into, quote, engineered products and mere cogs in the social machine."
Yep.
He argues the only hope for reversing this cataclysm is through societal collapse and revolution, which he hoped to spark.
Yeah, and we're like seeing a good example of this also with the writer's strike, because in the writer's strike, they're making it a point to fight back against the use of AI to write TV shows, because studios realize that all they have to do is buy an algorithm to write them a show, hire like real life people and writers to fix it up for like a day, and boom, they got their television show. They've cut out so much of the cost. And now writing television show, being a writer, is no longer a career. It's like like I remember I saw like a meme where it was like the AI is living all of our dreams by being able to do like, you know, make our right TV shows do all of this while the rest of us slave away on like nothing wages. And yeah, that is going to be a part of our future if we don't rejigger like the way we organize labor and the way that we organize monetary distribution.
Spark through his mail bombs, or at least to call attention to his ideas. And you have to say, on that count, he was kind of successful. It's easy to see how Kaczynski's ideas would land with a modern audience, especially among young people who have only ever experienced a world where the majority of their most intimate interactions are mediated through some tech platform or
That's disappointing because like collectivism is the way you solve this, I think. I believe that collectivism is a lot of the way that you solve, not like you can't solve it with every problem, but certainly like when it comes to societal organization, it is something that we don't embrace in this country because there's a very deep culture of individualism, but we mistake that for a lot of times, I think, for like individualism with like freedom, where like you can be an individual and still have less like freedom than people who live in collective states, you know, like in a collective, right? In somewhere like, you know, even in Europe, you have like the ability under a collectivist system to not die of like random diseases and live longer and live at the very least on the, you know, it's statistically happier lives because you're not worried about your health all the time. You're not worried about the next thing being the thing that kills you or bankrupts you. Like you have a right to be happy and like have a fulfilling life and seek healthiness through that. But we don't have that in America because we're told so often that we should never lean on each other. And I think that's bullshit. Utter fucking bullshit. Like we're a country. We're always supposed to come together except when we all have problems.
Another. There's a whole subgenre of TikTok devoted to Kaczynski stanning, where depressed Zoomers pine for a return to a wilderness that, frankly, they've barely ever experienced. It's filled with links to articles about microplastics, memes about suburban sprawl, and lamentations about low T levels. Separated by decades from the visceral horror of the killings and the terror that ordinary Americans felt just opening up their mailboxes, you're left with a radicalism for mass consumption. After all, who among us hasn't harbored an off-the-grid fantasy where we toss our smartphones into a lake, swear to never sign into another godforsaken Zoom call, rescue our children from Robloxia, and figure out how to make our way in the wilderness to be the masters of our own fates in the mold of our ancient ancestors?
Right. Yeah, that
sounds kind of appealing as we sit in our air-conditioned room with the whole world and every modern convenience right at our fingertips. In fact, you could easily argue that Kaczynski's analysis of the ills of modernity and threat of tech is actually at the peak of its relevance. After all, we just watched humanity be ravaged and our individual freedom further curtailed by a pandemic that was in all...
Damn it. Why is it always COVID? Why are we... Can we stop talking about COVID? I'm sorry. I am so sick of talking about COVID. He also believed that overcoming challenges is what makes us human, so he didn't like the idea of providing these things for people by right. Yeah, that's... No. Like, at the end of the day, it's anti-societal. Like, we live in a society. I know it's a meme, but like we live in a society. We live amongst people. We are social creatures. Like, and we need to build society, I think, around that and around the like everyone again coming together. I just like obviously there's always going to be people who are more who are loners, but I just like it's not a way to organize an entire fucking
by an
species.
Arrogant scientific establishment. Last week, the entire East Coast was smothered by smoke drifting from unprecedented wildfires that are a predictable consequence of the human-driven climate catastrophe. He also writes compellingly about the dangers of AI. He wrote, quote, as society and the problems that face it become more and more complex, and as machines become more and more intelligent, people will let machines make more and more of their decisions.
Yeah, even though, like, yeah, he can hate leftism, but, like, that kind of tells me he's a dumb fuck in terms of his ideology. Because at the end of the day, what do the conservatives have to offer from an ideological perspective to any of these problems? They don't believe in climate change. They have no problem with rampant capital ownership over literally anything. So, like, where's the solution on the other side? Like maybe you should have read fucking Marx a bit. Like,
for them, simply because machine-made decisions will bring better results than man-made ones. Eventually, a stage may be reached at which the decisions necessary to keep the system running will be so complex that human beings will be incapable of making them intelligently. At that stage, the machines will be in effective control. We already have tech,
What
which
the
even
fuck is
its own
that?
architects do not understand, churning out results that they cannot predict.
What is this?
It's impossible to argue the
I'm
tech is
confused. What am I
actually in
looking
service
at?
of humanity when we don't even know what the tech is up to underneath its shiny public-facing veneer. Just last week, Apple released its
God.
Vision Pro mixed reality
I saw a
headset,
bit of
which
this.
is
This
intended to
looks
bring all of your screens into your
weird.
immediate field of vision without even having to look down at a smartphone or TV or iPad or other
Ugh.
device.
Why would you
Who
do-
knows whether
okay.
it's ever going to reach widespread adoption, but it's one more invention designed to make us more disconnected from the environment we are actually in and the people we are actually around and become more reliant.
You know, I'm just gonna say it. That entire Apple thing, that's gonna be a boon for Pornhub. Like, man, they're gonna love that.
On the machines. Now, the niche hero worship of Kaczynski is obviously unsettling, given that he was a killer and a terrorist. His Zoomer fans feel the sting of disaffection, but lack the personal or societal means to do a whole lot about it. Their self-aware impotence on display as they use the new hottest tech platform to pine for the destruction of all technology and a return to the wild. Ted is admired with this group because he didn't just complain about modernity. He actually did the thing, lived off the grid survival life. And with so much time removed, his violence feels distant enough to just be a useful element.
Like, okay, one dude goes out and lives on his own, but like, are we all gonna do that? Are we all just gonna walk away from like everything? Like, no, this is ridiculous. Zoomers wouldn't even fucking survive 10 minutes throwing them into the woods and being like, all right, no more, it's time to play the forest, but IRL. Good luck chopping down this tree. It's going to take a lot more than a couple swipes.
Of an edgy, radical online persona. Ironically, it's the very story that our algorithm-boosted tech of today has incentivized a generation to tell about themselves. Be edgy, be radical, be extreme to get boosted in the algorithm. The TED stands who hate tech were cultivated by the very tech that they posture as despising. Of course, Kaczynski himself, in a lot of ways, was a cultural product of modernity. The boy genius with the freakish mathematical aptitude, swept up at the tender age of 16, shipped off to
Wait,
Harvard.
you're just a math nerd? Oh, no wonder. Fucking math nerds, man.
He would be fast-tracked into elite society so that his market-desirable intellect could be put to use by the government, and where he would be experimented on as part of the CIA's MK-Ultra project. When he became a terrorist, his exploits were packaged into digestible bites for a mass news media audience that was just getting a taste of the 24-hour news cycle.
It's like terrifying,
Kaczynski
but it's so
argued
fucking
that the unbearable
fascinating.
weight of the current system would eventually come crashing
What the
down.
fuck is this?
Now, nothing quite so apocalyptic has happened, but post-pandemic, we have certainly seen a dramatic reordering of human priorities. We've seen people move.
I actually think it's kind of fanciful to think that we're gonna see some like huge. It'll be slow. It's gonna be slow, gradual, and within like 10 years, you're gonna look back and go, wait, like there's no such thing as like a livable job anymore because all of the high-paying jobs have now been outsourced to AI. What the fuck? Like the insane revolution, the like technological revolution is going to come slowly and gradually, and suddenly people are going to realize, oh shit, there's like not a lot of ways to make money anymore. Even what I'm doing right now, even something like streaming is not going to be it's not going to be this unique thing forever, right? Like eventually somebody will make some algorithm that will produce a person with a made up background playing real games and reacting, and eventually it'll get to the point where, you know, you won't be able to tell much of a difference between, you know, any like, you know, your I don't fucking know streamers that well. You're you know, some AI and like Markiplier. Like eventually they're going to get there. And the question always becomes, okay, even though, you know, that's there, you know, that's a technology, that's something that happens. Who's controlling that and who's benefiting from that in terms of like from a monetary standpoint? And at the end of the day, it's going to be the guy who owns the algorithm. It's going to be the guy who owns the platform, you know, and eventually you're not going to have people like me. You're not going to have streamers who get on here, live in their, you know, who from their bedrooms doing this, like, you know, scrapping it all together with a laptop and some screens. Like eventually you're going to get corporate, like corporate streamers, fucking industry plants, where they don't have to pay people like me. They already paid the guy who made the algorithm. They already paid the guy who sourced all the data, even though all the data that's going to be sourced is going to be from streamers, and we're not going to get paid out for any of that. Like, at the end of the day, like, we need to get a hold of any of this technological stuff just to like make sure that, like, all of it's actually going, like, all the benefits aren't just flowing to the top, because that's what they're going to do. The owners of these companies that are getting these algorithms made, or any of the owners or creators of these algorithms, are just looking to be at the top of the heap at the end of the day. And like, the danger is how big the bottom of the heap is at this point.
To find a quality of life which more adequately nourishes their soul and their families. We have seen workers demanding accommodations to their new lifestyles rather than just sliding back into the old ways in which work life was everything. We've seen historic support for a worker-empowering labor movement and workers sparking grassroots movements to establish power and autonomy in their workplaces. These are all reformist attempts to reclaim the power that Ted argued the modern world had stripped from us all. We should witness those attempts, and we should be encouraged, because for me personally, I would like to find a way to promote human thriving and empowerment and protect the natural environment without having to give up antibiotics and air conditioning, and maybe without indiscriminately murdering random people. So, Ted, complicated
Precisely.
figure saga. Hey guys, if you like that video, go to breakingpoints.com.
Don't do that. Like this video. But yeah, Jesus. It's a mess, man. Like, this is, I really try not to sit on here and just constantly say, we need socialism, we need this or that. Mainly because I think that's kind of reductive, but
it's safe to say that
there has to there has to be like some kind of some kind of some kind of like class awareness, I think, for people. Some kind of understanding that we built this system. We need to learn to like make it work for us. Right now it doesn't. It works for the people who own everything. Then at the end of the day, that's that's it's going to be them, or it's going to be the few of them or the rest of us. And as far as I'm concerned, it might as well be the rest of us. If it's going to be one or the other. The thing that they tell, like at the end of all YouTube videos where they tell you to like click on one of these like things to watch more videos. Yeah, I've been meaning to film one of those. So that's what I was doing. I was just setting it up to film one.